CHS or something. I don't know what I think we'll wait till Jamie gets here before we call it, shall we? Or dropping her off and then I'll be there. I got the Mercedes back.
Oh yeah.
They found nothing. Yeah, they kept it 3 weeks.
They couldn't even find out the fuel gauge was inaccurate.
Well, they test drove it twice in 3 weeks, so we can't find anything. Come and get it. And on the way home, of course, the tire pressure sensor light came back on.
Wasn't that on your list?
No. Wasn't on. Hey, go to your office and get on Zoom.
Why, did you like that better? You didn't have to look at my ugly
And we can't hear you.
side by side?
That speaker didn't work, so I couldn't hear. The only thing that was working was that speaker there.
Oh, really?
I mean, I couldn't hear words.
You didn't know you did that? I wish that's where I was. Well, I was in a cool place. I was in Moab, but I didn't. I was in my hotel room and then to a conference, and then back to the hotel room and then conference. I went out to eat one time, and then I ran back to my hotel room and got back to work. And the only time it was after the planning commission got out, and I'm like, hey, the restaurant's still open. I can actually go get some real food. I was eating like just stuff that I had brought with me that I got at Walmart. I mean, it was just too busy of a week. And I'm like, I'm in Moab. I should have like brought my bike. I should have, you know, hosting some kind of thing. It was a storm. It was a flood management conference, floodplain management conference. When we get done with our bridge project and this other, we have to go through a letter of map revision relationship process with the federal government. And they had a specific class on that. And I was like, well, I guess I gotta go. I didn't want to go, but it was actually good. The whole conference was really, really, really good. I would have never gone if I didn't have to. The goal is to prevent the ramp from turning into a mini income swallow. Yes, that's the whole goal. But it's like you're playing chess with them. Well, I think we can get some more flexibility. We can get it. We can do a good job. The firm that's doing the mapping, the bid process, the firm that's doing our bridge was there, and the firm that's doing, they were all going to strike out all the other, like, never be able to do that. They okay, and just strategize on how to get all the data and get the company. See, the company that owns everything is FEMA. They're doing it for FEMA, but they're working for FEMA. But I'm saying is the county paying for it. We just receive whatever happens. But as much as I can influence their process by getting them to factor in all these improvements that we're doing is huge. Yeah. No, we do. Not from a mapping perspective, but from a I'm living in the planning world, but in the real world, we need those filters in the water. Not when it comes to the flood channel coming out of the canyon. Whenever you're ready.
Jamie's just a couple minutes away. Should we wait for her?
When it comes to a 100-year event, parked on top of it.
She's just here.
That one, yeah. Yep. No, what it is there is a regulatory map from '86. FEMA did maps in 2007, 8, 9. There's a
time frame when they were working on it, and then they're redoing it now. And the one that they did in 789, it puts a 100-year flood on top of the entire thing all at the same time, and looks at LiDAR to say where is it a pond and all that stuff. But when we're talking about, but if you look at that same map, it's factoring water coming out of a canyon, and it's factoring water that's ponding from us. So what I'm saying is, right now, if you look at that map, you see that a 100-year flood coming out of the canyon diverts right at Main Street Bridge and goes right out through town. It like does this, because we're on an alluvial plain, and it just spreads. So some of that water is going to then collect and get back in. If you keep all that water in the channel in a 100-year event, then what is left to collect and pond? Who knows? Because they've modeled it. You know what I'm saying?
They figured it's gonna hop out of the creek right there, yeah.
Forever showed it too.
I love that, because of this very narrow bridge.
The bridge and that farmer's diversion gets real shallow and high and shallow. So that's like, that is ground zero for a flood that comes after canyon flood. So sometimes
When it rains out there, they get 200 feet.
even better, according to the bridge. The new bridge is designed to be a flood event, bigger flood event. We're taking that diversion out and deepening the channel. Okay? Deeper, not much wider, but deeper.
Jamie, Bo Amy.
So, no, those two things are huge. Those two things are a huge upgrade. Plus all the work we did in 23 too. So.
No, it's okay. Look, there's nobody here anyway.
Well, it's where it ponds up closer to freeway.
Call a meeting to order, 6:07 p.m. Is there any declaration of conflicts with any agenda items for any of us?
No.
Oh, that sounds like a no. We move on to number 3, the approval of the minutes from November 19th, 2025. Any comments?
My wife's from.
I don't have any.
Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from November 19th, 2025?
I make a motion we approve the minutes from November 19th, 2025.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Okay, moving on to number 4. Patriot Jiu-Jitsu commercial project approval. And where do we begin on that?
Okay, Callie, do you happen to have that was in the packet? If not, I can pull it up. Okay, I'll pull it up. So,
Yeah.
commercial development, basically, not all of these come to the Planning Commission. It says that Planning Commission shall review and accept them unless it's delegated to the zoning administrator. So if it's a new project, if it's a project of any sort of size or complexity at all, I like to bring it to the Planning Commission. There's a lot that are pretty plain, that aren't that big, that I don't bring to the Planning Commission. In this case, this is not actually a very complex or tricky one, but figured you guys may want to see it.
Yes, please.
So I'm bringing it up. Make sure I got the right version of the map. Yeah, okay. Oh, let me switch. So you guys may or may not be aware of the property trade the city did. We did an acre for acre property trade with Dwight Hargett, who is the owner of Patriot Jiu-Jitsu. For some reason I have a hard time pronouncing that word sometimes. I kind of gum on it. Anyways, and so he owned property on the Paraguna Highway, right behind, immediately behind Family Dollar, and wanted to build there, with the city's plan to eventually probably divert the Paraguna Highway down 700 North and get in and restore the grid through there. It wouldn't have been an optimal place for him to build, but he had the right to build if he wanted to. He would have had to extend all the utilities down a road that may eventually be not a road in the future at great cost to him and quite an annoyance to the city and everybody else around there if that was ever moved. So his engineer actually came up with the idea of trading the city. If he said, is there any property that the city has that would be interested in trading? We went around. We ended up trading a property on 300 East, just kind of south of the UDOT road shed, south of the property that the Englishes have across the street from Dave Harris Cabinets. So we traded him acre for acre in that area that's zoned industrial. And he wants to do a gym that is like a karate or jiu-jitsu type gym. So the best thing that he did, because he is required to actually have engineered plans, but he went and hired an engineering firm, Watson Engineering, to go ahead and design this. They brought to us a set of utility plans, and we've been working with Public Works and myself to review his plans for appropriateness with code and make sure that it's good in that zone, make sure that all the utility plans work. He has to extend the sewer line, he's got to extend a water line, he's got to install a cross gutter and do everything for the building. So we've gone through several iterations with him and are now ready for him to move forward with his building permit. But I figured that we ought to bring it in front of the Planning Commission, let you guys look at it, ask any questions you have, and we'll go from there. One thing I do want to point out is they are not doing an asphalt driveway. They're doing, if you remember, we went through this and said that we require hard surface for commercial, and we did not define hard surface as concrete or asphalt. So he will be putting in a
Rocks or road base or
hard, yeah, he'll be putting in probably road base and compacting that. He will, on the other hand, be building a ADA accessible pad out of concrete that ties into the cement that goes around the building. So it will be, there's no question, that's been one of the things that has had me the most concerned about hard surface. I'm going to put in quotes that may not be hard surface in the future depending on maintenance, is ADA compliability, and I brought that up early on, and he said no problem, we'll put in a ADA parking spot with an ADA accessible ramp and all that stuff. So that's why you'll see on the map this gravel look here on the parking lot. He is doing some drainage control for the new hard surface that he put in, and extending the utilities so that he is will be coming right off of here you can see this is an existing sewer manhole. He's going to be putting in a new manhole, and as long as he didn't put in a basement and put his lateral into that, he is able to make it gravity feed into our system. That was one of the big questions early on of whether he would be able to do that or not. And he will be tying into the water line here and running a lateral across the street. So all of that's been potholed and verified, and power comes off the back. So I don't know, it's not that tricky or complex of a build, but it is something that will be interesting to see added.
What is this facility in the upper right-hand corner?
Where are you talking?
Where it looks like two doors, has got a number 25 on it, right near the parking lot, right
This
there?
here? This
Yeah.
will be a trash enclosure.
Oh.
If I'm not wrong, let me just back up.
So Dan, curious, how are they addressing that drainage? Because there is a drainage there on 30 East.
They have a drainage detention basin to capture their own newly created runoff.
What about the drainage that comes down?
The drainage that comes down is out here in the drainage swell in
Okay.
300.
So they're addressing that.
Yeah, they'll have to grade that so that that water flows, and then their own drainage will then meter out into that.
'Cause there is drainage there.
Yeah, 300 East is a point of conveyance that goes down through there. Used to be a pretty significant one. Now it does take water, especially under a flood event that we have in town. 300 East takes a fair amount of water. So he doesn't add to it. He retains his own, so.
And he didn't have to put a lift in on the sewer?
Nope.
And that building is just on a slab, correct? Is that
Yep. Slab on grade.
not very big, is it?
Nope. It's 74 by 40 is the building.
It's pretty decent size.
Right.
I mean, it'll be a metal building for a gym.
Oh, I see.
It'll have bathrooms inside. It's pretty simple as far as what it is.
Well, it looks like he has everything covered.
Yeah, he's covered all the bases. He's extremely eager to move quickly, as fast as he can. The whole property trade and everything took a while, and he was kind of frustrated with that. And I'm like, hey, we've got to go through our process. You certainly can't assume that's a given. And this avoids a lot of utility extension that he would have had to do with the other property. And I don't think he already had the building bought, and he hadn't factored in setbacks and all that stuff, which the other property, frankly, I think he would have probably had to sell this building and do something else. The property was a triangle, and it was tricky. So this is a much better solution for him. He was a little concerned to be as far away from Main Street, but it's much better build out and all that stuff. And with a business like his, you know, he's going to have repeat clientele. So once he can get everybody there, he should be able to hopefully be successful.
So are all those utilities out of his way? Those, you know, you've got that major gas line and I think fiber optics and everything in that street.
Yeah, this line right here on the map, this is your high pressure gas. It's out in the street. And yeah, there's nothing out in that property other than the power along the back, which actually is to his benefit.
Any other questions or comments from the committee?
No.
Do we make a motion to approve the,
Yep, to approve.
looking to see if anybody would like to make a motion to approve the commercial project for Patriot Jiu-Jitsu?
I'll make a motion to approve Patriot Jiu-Jitsu commercial project plans.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. We'll move on to number 5. Annexation policy, plan and map. Consider input from affected entities.
Okay, so remember we had the meeting last time to discuss, to have if any of the affected entities wanted to come and comment. I did have the county reach out, our new county planner. He does watch our meetings. Maybe he's watching now. Maybe he's watching it recorded later. And he was surprised to find out that we had sent out notice. And the notice had been sent to the county, but as we know, there's many offices within the county, and we decided that it was at the county clerk's office and hadn't been forwarded to the planning office. So, but anyways, he said that they had no comments on the proposed. So now is when we're just following all the steps per code. Now is when we would consider any comments that they had submitted to us written. We do not have any. So there's nothing to do other than to say we've considered it and we need to schedule the public hearing, but that's the next item.
Okay. Next item is number 6, schedule public hearing date for annexation policy plan on our next meeting, which would be December 17th, 2025, 2 weeks from today.
So we just need to make a motion to set that hearing.
We make a motion to schedule a public hearing for December 17th, 2025.
I make a motion to schedule the public hearing for annexation policy plan for December 17th, 2025.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is scheduled. Moving on to number 7. Road typical sections, discussion and possible scheduling of a public hearing.
Okay, so we talked about everything last time, and I thought we had a pretty good discussion. I threw a lot of information at the commission via Zoom, and then there was a pretty good discussion afterwards. We can have more discussion if we want, or whatever the commission wants to do, but we need to determine if we are going to make any changes. We need to determine what those changes are that we want to propose, so the public has something to comment on at the public hearing.
I like the changes that we talked about last meeting.
Mhm.
Which is,
That 50 feet is too big and we need to reduce that to a 36 or like a 38, road.
No, we're talking roadway, right away.
Oh,
a typical section includes the right of way and the asphalt width.
okay.
So,
So are we talking about this packet that we went over?
yes.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm on the right page then.
Yeah, so the,
Wait a second.
so the,
No, you're
so we have several things that we talked about. We had talked about eliminating the no
Yeah.
Mhm.
on-street parking option, which is a 60-foot right-of-way, and of course what is that, 32 feet of asphalt. We talked about eliminating that.
Mhm.
We were going to maintain this one. There was a fair amount of discussion about a 50-foot right-of-way,
Yeah.
and I presented a different diagram. Of course, it's not in our existing one. So that's something to consider, whether or not to get rid of the no on-street parking. And then there was, we had another aspect of the conversation, which was whether or not to allow in new subdivisions a no curb and gutter and sidewalk option on a new subdivision.
Mhm.
I believe Tracy had some comments on that. Those were kind of the things that were in flux.
So Dan, it would probably be helpful, 'cause I mean, we saw what you pulled up for us, when we were discussing it last time,
Uh-huh.
but I never received a copy of what you had, where you had it as the 50-foot right-of-way, and then you also had, remember, some of the sidewalk, curb and gutter, and the asphalt dimensions on it.
Right. Yes, so, and I had that
I have notes on it.
You do?
No, yeah, we were gonna eliminate the 1.5 on each side of the sidewalk on the local street section on parking. So we were gonna eliminate that, and then instead of 2 feet off of the shoulder in the sidewalk, I think we moved that to 1 foot.
Okay, so where did my mouse go? Okay. Yeah, this is what Jamie's referring to.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
The 50-foot right-of-way eliminates the 1.5. It turns these lanes into what you see, 8, 10, 10, goes to a 2-foot curb and gutter instead of a 2.5 foot, and it has a 5-foot sidewalk. So your your right-of-way goes from the very edge of the sidewalk to the very edge of the sidewalk, and it leads to all of that. And that's with 36 foot of asphalt. So this is a proposal I will send out to the group tonight.
So when you have public comment on it, do they see it? I mean, do you
So typically what we do is we notice the meeting, and if we can define what we're doing in text pretty easily, we put that in the notice. If there's something like a packet that shows what it is, then we will say that they can come into the office, or we'll give it to them, or something like that. We want to make it available to them so that they can get it, digest it, come in with comments. In this case, what we're starting with is the existing sections. So what we would do is we would probably create a version of this that had anything we were getting rid of X'd out, and then we would have an additional page with any additional proposed ones that we would have. One thing I want to ask on, we have this local street section, no curb, and we essentially have 26 feet of pavement. We talked about making curb, gutter, and sidewalk required because that would make it so that we can't have somebody insist on and get a minimum width road under state code, right? Remember that whole discussion?
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we went down the road where Tracy was saying, but in certain circumstances, should we make some sort of a no curb and gutter option available or not, right? So, and that's a discussion that we've got to have, and we've got to realize that if we have that as an option, then what it opens the door to as far as state code, or if we want to make it an option only in certain circumstances or in certain zones or something like that, we can define that. So that is one of the things that I think maybe there's a division of opinion on. I think that there's a division of opinion on whether to allow the 50-foot right-of-way road section or not. Those are probably the two that I think maybe there's a difference of opinion on. And I think everybody agreed on getting rid of this no on-street parking option, right?
So, Dan, I have a question. On the one where you had, down, it was the no curb, I think, and sidewalks. Why is the pavement width so much smaller than what we would see if you had curb, gutter, and sidewalks? Because, I mean,
right.
Looking at that other one, you had it like 36.
I think it came from...
Because if anything, I would think if you didn't have sidewalk, curb, and gutter, your road would need to be bigger.
I think what it came from was we had a road option that was an existing local street section to match up what we see around the old town.
Mm.
And in some cases, we wish we had 26 feet. But this was an idea that if you were building something in the old section of town, you could tie right into the way everything else looked. And that's where that width came from. But I entirely agree. In fact, that was my next point, was in a new subdivision where there is open land, and if we do want to consider some sort of option without curb, gutter, and sidewalk, 26 feet is very narrow.
Yeah.
I think we leave the other one for the existing part of town, because then we're not forcing somebody to widen the road in front of 3 houses, right? But if you're building a new subdivision, do we want to allow something with 26 feet? That's very narrow.
Probably not.
Well, it'd make parking difficult and everything else, so,
Right.
yeah.
I think you should probably stick with the 60-foot right-of-way, because if you don't have your curb and gutter, you may need more room for drainage.
You can see on the one, you can't see on that one because there's no swell. But you can see on, there's one of these where I told them to give me an option that showed sidewalk, because in some places in town, in the old town, you have sidewalk. You can see this drainage swell right here, right? You have the slope of the side of it, and then you have this drainage swell. And you'll see that it isn't defined how far apart that is.
It doesn't show the right-of-way width right here either.
Right. That's because it varies on all of our old streets. So you're right. You're absolutely right.
What is the range that it varies?
So you're
Our streets.
in the old plat of town, you're usually 100 feet. On a couple of them, you're 110. And then all of a sudden, you step just outside the old original lots and blocks, which is still what a lot of people would call old, but then they drop to 60 foot, 55 foot, you know, I mean, you look at the road to Dave's house, you know, it drops to like 55 foot, 60 foot right there.
It's 60.
It's 60 foot. It always looks smaller than that to me till I actually measure it. Just outside of the old town, you're going to see these things drop way down to like 60 foot.
So
And
60 sounds pretty, like quite a reduction just right there from the original.
Oh, it is.
So would it be smart to go any tighter than that?
This is the debate.
Yeah.
I think that 26 feet come from some state code or something, Dan.
Well, we thought, but it's actually 32 feet.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that the preferred width or preferred minimum width for a 2-lane road in a neighborhood? It's about 32 feet.
Where 32 feet came from was with a huge debate at the legislature on if you were going to have no on-street parking, the maximum a city could require of asphalt is 32 feet. Assuming they do a traffic impact study, assuming they don't have curb and gutter, and assuming you're not going to have more than 1,000 trips per day, under state law, you have a right to build a maximum of 32 feet of asphalt in those scenarios. Now, as soon as you require curb, gutter, and sidewalk, you can require wider asphalt. But if we do not require curb, gutter, and sidewalk, and we allow it to be a natural drainage swell, they can get a maximum of 32 feet under state law. So, how that really applies is, if we want to leave an option in here of no curb, gutter, and sidewalk. Oh, sorry, this is a major minor collector. On a local road, that's what we're really talking about. Then we can't go any bigger than 32 feet. That's what that means. And is 32 feet a good option? Yeah, I mean, generally your travel lanes are 11. So an 11 is 32. That's 5 feet of shoulder beyond the travel lane. Not enough to park a car. Your car is going to be generally in the drainage swell or on the side of the road for parking.
I thought they decided not to eliminate no on-street parking was agreed upon.
Yes. What I'm saying is, whether or not to park on street or not is somewhat immaterial to the state law, but the only time that works is if you're not going to have people parking on the asphalt. From a line striping perspective.
So if you did the option of no curb, then the pavement width could be changed from 26 feet to 32 feet, because that's in the state code.
Right. You're just not having on-street parking. You're not having on-street parking. You could have in the right-of-way parking in the dirt, but you do not have on-street parking.
I like this one with 26. I think it goes with the character of the original roads in Parowan. I think if you widen it, it's gonna not match with the current roads that we have, and it's just gonna look weird.
So we're not talking about getting rid of the
Yeah.
one in the existing local streets.
Yeah,
We're gonna keep that one regardless.
okay.
What we're talking about is in a new subdivision,
Oh, gotcha.
do we wanna allow a no curb, gutter, and sidewalk option?
No, I think it needs curb and gutter in a new subdivision.
I think I agree with that as well, Jamie.
Well, if, I'm just thinking from a developer point of view, I mean, in fact, it's interesting that when I was looking into this, I was trying to get some bids for Heritage Hills, and I asked, could you give me the difference between curb, gutter, sidewalks, and then also, no curb, gutter, or sidewalks, instead, it would have a drainage ditch, which some of them can look really nice, like with rocks in them. And he said, actually, you wouldn't be saving that much money. It'd be like a $1,500 difference, because creating the drainage ditches are pretty expensive. But when I was looking into some pictures of them, they definitely look more rural than a city look when you've got the curb, gutter, and sidewalks. So that would be the only thing I would say from a developer point of view, depending on what they're looking.
Well, and that's why I threw out the idea that maybe you wanna consider leaving it, but only in the rural estates zone, or only in R1 zone, or, you know what I mean? It's more of a rural type zone, or leave it in the rural estate zone and slightly tweak the rural estate zones. By the way, the rural estate zone, you have to have acre lots. And you're absolutely right, in the county, it's optional. If you're gonna do a subdivision out in the county somewhere, you're not required to do curb, gutter, and sidewalk. Most cities require curb, gutter, and sidewalk. Generally speaking, when you get out in the county, they'll make it optional. Just because you can have curb, gutter, and sidewalk not connect to anything other than within the subdivision itself. And so you get these larger estates on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 acres, and curb, gutter, and sidewalk becomes this insane cost to have throughout these huge lots. And then some of the nicer lots, subdivisions in the county, you might have trails, or you might have horse path, or you know what I mean? It's kind of more of this really rural versus a city type scenario, and I don't know.
No, I like the idea of just leaving it with rural estates, minimum levy.
Right.
That makes sense.
Aesthetically, it does,
Yeah,
is
that's
more
totally
appealing
Well,
for that.
yeah, it just depends, like,
Yeah,
well, and I'm just saying that I think I mean, having developers have options probably is helpful to them, more city-friendly, if I wanna say, to some extent. So, and I was thinking, Jerry, in your subdivision, the little subdivision that you're in, I don't think that would look right if you had curb, gutter, sidewalks
Yeah.
going along in there, right?
Right.
So, I don't know what your lot sizes are, but I mean, if you start looking around some of the areas, that might be helpful too.
You have
it's
to,
in a subdivision.
you have to deal with drainage.
What is it?
It's just a regular part of the city.
Is it part of the city?
Yeah, it's not a subdivision. They're not.
So in any case, you've gotta deal with drainage.
You gotta deal with drainage one way or the other.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying, the important thing to realize is if you do not require curb, gutter, and sidewalk, the maximum you can,
Yeah.
require is 32 feet of asphalt.
Mhm.
That becomes, and you're not gonna have on-street parking in that scenario. And one of the things we were trying to do is get rid of the no on-street parking option. So you just have to recognize that if we do this, that means that. If we do this, that means that.
I think it's appropriate to interject this comment. I spoke to the fire chief today, and he wants to go and look at the different areas. I'm gonna give him this, right away in asphalt, graph. And he wants to take a fire truck, and he wants to actually look at these areas as far as from the fire, response perspective. And he was explaining to me about having to have, you're working on one side dropping hoses and you're still having to get by and have access and do things. So anyway, I think it'd be good to have him do that, and he wanted to. He's gonna do it maybe tomorrow.
Good.
So I think that's probably a good opinion to have, a professional opinion, and from a safety, response and a fire response as far as the right-of-way width.
So one of the things we could do is, we could put on a public hearing our typical sections and say we are considering getting rid of the no on-street parking on page A1. We are considering changing the pavement width from 26 to 32 feet on A2. And we are considering a potential 50-foot right-of-way design. We'll put that in the notice and then have a copy of all those available. And just say, come and tell us what you think.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Get the public's input on it,
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely.
and then go from there.
Oh, yeah.
Do we need to make a motion to schedule that public hearing?
Yeah,
We need to,
we can do it next time with that other public
Next
hearing.
meeting?
Actually, we'd have 3 that time, because we need to do the public hearing on the
right,
driveway
right.
thing. The other one is the public hearing on the annexation policy plan. And then this one.
Right. So can we get a motion for that? For scheduling a public hearing for
Road typical sections modifications?
Are you wanting it to be in the public hearing of December 17th?
Yeah,
Is that
let's
what
do
you're
it
confusing?
all at the same time. That'd be nice.
yeah.
See, no curb and gutter, it's just drainage.
Oh, yeah, see
That does look
See,
good.
this looks nice,
Yeah, that looks great.
right?
Sorry, I just got pictures sent to no curb and gutter in rural areas, and it looks good. Like, that looks really good.
Yeah, yeah.
What was the acreage?
I
of
don't
the
know.
lots?
I don't know, they
You
just,
know?
By the way, one new variant that I've seen recently, there's a subdivision out by Lund Highway in Cedar City, and they ran it looks like, how you do curb edging on landscaping. They ran like a 5-foot curb flush with the asphalt, along the edge of the asphalt,
Oh,
to
yeah,
keep the asphalt from crumbling and then
Huh.
losing.
that's a good idea.
I wonder how it'll work and how it'll play out with the weather and all that stuff, but
Spot to walk too.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's 5 inches.
Oh, 5 inches.
1 acre.
It's just like they did landscape curbing to keep
in
the
it.
edges of the asphalt from crumbling off, which is a big problem.
Right.
Drive around town and you'll see it all over.
Yeah, it looks
Anyways, just a thought.
Snow removal and all that other stuff that
Yep.
tears it up.
Gets flat underneath,
I don't know.
falls apart.
David is texting me.
Okay, I'm gonna reply to Callie's email with tonight's planning and zoning. I'm gonna reply to it with this 50-foot section. You guys already have the other one.
Okay.
That's the one you didn't have.
Mhm.
And, the other thing I said I was gonna send and I never sent, that spreadsheet that had all the different subdivisions in town, so you can drive around and look
Right.
at them and know what they are, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send it
Oh.
to
I know the subdivision across the street from the market. It's Pero Vista, by the way, not Chuck Harris's subdivision.
Hero Vista?
Pero Vista is what, I went and looked. I was like, I don't know the name of that, but I should know it.
Dan,
Pero Vista. Pero Vista.
Pero Vista.
Yeah, Pero Vista.
I'm sorry, I've never heard of that.
Dan, is this the
Yep.
spreadsheet you sent?
That's it.
You send it?
You did send it. I think I got that.
Oh, I did send it.
Yeah.
But
I
not
did get
this
that too.
other one.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Well, I won't resend it then. I'll just send the
I
50.
mean, you can
Yeah.
change the spreadsheet to say Pero Vista.
Oh, I'll change the spreadsheet and send it. Yes, absolutely.
Oh, there.
We don't wanna have
Well,
Chuck
nobody will know where it is then.
Well, you better get the name. I mean, Gur subdivision is technically what? Red
Hill.
Yeah, Red Hills, but it's Gur subdivision.
That one across from the market's never been
Across the
Pero
market,
Vista.
that's what I call it. No, it's Para Vista. Para Vista.
Pero Worsta.
Ooh.
You know, it's.
Shots fired. Okay, Pero Vista. I'm writing it right now.
All right, I make a motion that we have a public hearing December 17th for the road typical sections, what we just discussed.
Do we have a second?
No, I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Moving on to number 8, member reports. We'll start with Dave and move our way through.
No, thanks, Jerry, I appreciate it.
Okay, Tracy,
No.
Jamie? I have nothing.
Nope. Negatory.
Okay, in that case, public comment. Don't see anybody there, so last but certainly not least, we make a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
I'll second the motion.
Question, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? We are officially adjourned.
One of our less